ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा येनाक्षरसमाम्नायम् अधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्. So all of you who have submitted the homework, I think, have done reasonably well. There are some sticking issues. We will resolve them now. Okay. So what's the main thing we have looked at so far? Let's review that quickly. Wait 2 seconds. Okay. Okay. So we have seen what is called as the Maheshwara Sutras, which go Aivun, Rilik, Aong, Iouch, Hayavarat, Lan, Nyamagananam, Chabhai, Khadadash, Jaba Khadadash, Khapa Chatata Chatatau, Kapai, Shashasar, Hal, iti Maheshwarani Sutrani. So what is the purpose of these sutras? It is helping group letters and give them very short names, which we call pratyaharas. So the last exercise you had, the pratyaharas, all the pratyaharas which are used in the sutras of Panini. So these are the 44 which are used. There is no other pratyahara which is used. We can create many more. Possibilities are many, but these are the ones which are used. So in that, there were a couple of questions which came up, which I will start with now. One is you find a ha here, the fifth sutra, hayavarat, and you also find a ha in the last sutra, which is hal, 14th sutra. So why is ha there 2 times? It's there because it needs to be in groups which are in separate areas. That's all. See, we don't believe that Panini deliberately thought up these. These are called Shiva Sutras. They came and Panini found everything in them. All right. But the reason why it has to be there is because it for example, it belongs to this Shasha Sarhal will form one group, Shal, which we need. And also it needs to be in other groups, and etc. Therefore, it's there in 2 places, nothing more than that. Now, the important thing to note here is in your exercise you had 2 columns. One which said, just say what the pratyahara contains. And the second column said, you say what else does it include as savarnas. Okay. What we need to understand is the basic meaning of a pratyahara is just the letters you get from Maheshwara Sutras. This should be clear. So if you say an, you'll say a, e, u. We will deal with the second an in a bit, okay? A, e, u. That's what it is. In certain situations, you have to add the extra savarna letters. Not all the time. So you have to know, when we look at sutras, you will understand it better. But sometimes we have to add the savarna letters, sometimes we don't. Whenever the pratyahara we're using is being used as a replacement, as an adesha, then it should not be expanded. It should be just the letters in the pratyahara. But when we want to use it for making certain decisions, what precedes, what follows, then we will include the extra savarna letters. Okay. So let me begin with the questions that came up to me by emails. So we will look at those questions. Then I will again explain this whole savarna idea a little better, and then we will move forward. Okay. So let me first share. Okay. This file also now, this questions asked, you will find in your shared folder. Okay. Okay. First question is this. Why is Hakara present in 2 sutra? I explained that just now. All right. Now, regarding in the exercise, the last pratyahara is Ra. Okay. And I gave the answer as Ra and La. Correct? Why can't this be denoted as Run instead? What additional benefit does Ra provide since both cases and expansion will be identical? Correct. Very, very correct observation. So, if we look at the Maheshwar Sutras, what do we find? Here is the Ra, right? Ra, drop this letter, Lakara and A. This A is the ith letter here. Nasalized A is the ith letter. Now, whether you use this A or you use Na, you will get the same, Ra and La. So, observation is valid. All right. But then, in the Sutras of Panini, you will find Ra being used. Okay. So, that's all that I can say about it. There's nothing more. So, we don't use Run, we use Ra. So, there is no particular reason attributed. Maybe it's a little short, Ra instead of Run, maybe. But that's what is used. Okay. So, I hope that question is clear. Then, is there a L, Dirgha, similar to R? And the answer is no. There is no Dirgha Lukara. You have either one matra or 3 matras, but not 2. This is how the language is. There is no Dirgha. So you can't say like R, R, and then one more 3 matras. R. Here you'll have what? L, then 3 matras. L. And the 3 matras will don't worry. Even 1 matra will barely worry. Okay. So don't worry about L too much. Is this clear? Anytime you have a question, raise your hand. I will answer your question. Okay. Now, regarding Bison, should the vowels apart from and A? Yes, I had a typo. I have corrected it. It should have said, other than not E. In, I think. All right. That's this error. And that's why you got an answer again to make sure that what was sent earlier is corrected for you. Okay. Now I'll come to an important thing. Questions on un. There are several questions on un. And answer for all of them will be 1. Okay. Therefore, I thought I'll bunch all your questions together. So one person said, I understood that an pratyahara always refers to first nakara in the first Maheshwara Sutra. Correct. Why is then in B11, why is un expanded using second nakara? We will look into that. All right. Because I gave second un as A, I, U, R, L, A, O, I, O, Ha, Ya, Va, Ra, La. First un should have been just A, I, U, end of it, right? In fact, I won't. So it should stop here. It doesn't go further. So why are you giving this long story? We will look into that. Regarding B11, should this just be till first na? Same question, okay? Then the next question was, this refers to the penultimate column. Since it is asked to write additional savarna letters, I included entire varga of the consonant letter, the pratyahara. This seems to be wrong. Where did I go wrong? Okay. And last one is, unless one uses ku, there is no savarna for individual letters. This needs to be understood better. What is savarna? First, let us understand, okay? What is savarna definition? Tulya asya prayatnam savarnam. Asya is the fixed place in the mouth which is used for making that sound. And prayatna is the abhyantara prayatna, which is what? Either vivarta, open, fully open, vivrita, or samvrita, or ishat vivrita, ishat sprishta. No, ishat sprishta, not vivrita, not samvrita, ishat sprishta, ishat vivrita, and sprishta, fully touching. These were the abhyantar prayatnas. Now, what we use doesn't matter. A letter has got savarna letters. So the savarna letters of ka indeed are always the other four. Kha, ga, gha, nga. No changes there. Now the question is, when should we bring in the savarna letters? Is this question clear? When should we bring additional savarna letters? So savarna letters for a are what? A. Correct? Savarna letter for E is what? E. Savarna letter for U is what? U. Savarna letter for cha is what? Cha, jha. Right? Ja, jha and nya. Four of them. Now, the question is, when should you bring in savarna letters? That I'm saying, we have two things here. Whenever, I told you, whenever the it's something which has to be replaced. You will know when we look at sutras, okay? Then you should not bring savarna letters. But when didn't understand, it's okay. You will understand when you look at sutra. All right? Don't scratch your head now. It'll happen in time. So I'll give an example. Okay. When let me think for a minute, okay? Let me say I don't want to jump the gun because I have to explain more things. We will come to those sutras in a bit. All right. But in general, understand this. I'll give an example which is not for savarna right now, but you'll understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Now, you know, if I say there are sandhi rules, several sandhi rules, right? Suppose I say Ravi atra. Ravi atra. What will happen? It will become Ravyatra. Okay. E plus a, what will happen? That E will get replaced by ya. So the grammar rule will say you replace E with yakara in that context. You understand now when I say replace means one letter is being mandated by a sutra as a rule. There, if I say you replace with ya, okay, there are two possibilities now. What? It could be ya, which is nasalized, ya, which is not nasalized. Both are valid here. All right. But suppose for some reason I don't want both. What should happen? There'll be trouble. We have to somehow say which one. Okay. Now, if the replacement was, let us say, E or U, if you brought in savarna letters, you won't know now which of the 18 forms of E or U you should replace. All right. Therefore, we have to fix it. We have to fix it. And the fix may be to just one, or the fix could be one with respect to matra, but free with respect to nasalization and non-nasalization. Could be free with respect to Vedic swaras. There are various possibilities. But what is important is that when we want replace, there must be a clear way of determining which of the savarnas should come, or else savarnas should be stopped. Is making sense? So in the context, you will know whether I should expand or not expand. This is one thing. Now, what should you expand? Second part. What should you expand? We say any letters which are in the pratyahara an. Any letters which are included in the pratyahara an should be expanded. This is a rule. When we need to bring in savarna letters, for which should you bring savarna? For any letters which are in the pratyahara an. Which an? For this rule, the second an has to be used, second nakara. Which means a, e, u, r, l. A, e, u, r, l. Right? Then what? A, o, I, o. Then what? Ha, ya, va, ra, la. For all of them, if there is savarna, it should come. Okay? All the vowels have got the savarnas based on nasalization, non-nasalization, matras, 1, 2, or 3, right? And they also have one more, which is what? The swara, Vedika swara. So, a, e, u have got 18, right? L has not got 18 because one dirgha is not there. A and O don't have hrasva. Like this, there are some funny things. We don't have to worry about too much about it. But all I'm saying is you have many possibilities. So and will bring in all the vowel related savarnas plus what? Ha does not have savarnas. Nothing will come extra, right? Ya, va, ra, la have got only nasalized as a savarna. Okay? And that you will notice in Vedika chanting. Sometimes you will find there's a nasalized ya, va, ra, la. You will see that. If you are used to Vedic chanting, you will know where it comes. Okay? So that is the reason for the nasalized part. All right? So now, even though I'm saying you have to expand, you don't expand consonants. You only expand what is within and. Is that clear? Only for expanding savarnas. We are not saying kha, ga, gha, ga are not savarnas. We're not saying that. The savarnatvam is only based on asya and prayatna. When you get a pratyahara, when to expand to include savarnas is what we're discussing right now. Is this clear? We are not restricting savarna. We are only saying when should you bring in extra savarna letters. Okay? Is that clear? See, there is a sutra for this. I have not gone into it right now because, see, in Panini, when you learn, it's always a balancing act where to start and how to go because everything requires other things. It's all like noodles connected. So after you understand a few, everything will start falling in place. Okay? So for now, what do you understand? Only those with this and further, udit. Udit. Udit means what? When a nasalized u is an ith letter, when a nasalized u is an ith letter, which follows what? The first of the varga. Ka, cha, ta, ta, pa. Means what? It will become ku. You nasalize. Ku. We don't normally pronounce it even. Ku, chu, pu, tu, tu. I'll normally say ku, chu, tu, pu, tu. I won't say ku. All right? But these, when you have a nasalized u as an ith letter for the first of the class, then they should always be expanded, whether it is replacement or on the other side. In both cases, they should always be expanded to include all the savarna letters. That is the reason why I split your exercise into two parts. Part A was just for you to understand what is savarna. Okay? Because I don't want you to confuse the two. Savarna is clean. You understand it. Now, when should you expand? Is a different question. So the method, Panini calls these grahaka sutras. Grahaka means what? What makes you grasp. Okay? So he will tell you pratyahara, how to expand pratyahara, the grahaka sutra. When to bring what savarnas is grahaka sutra. Right? There are a few more like that. They're called grahaka sutras, which tell you what should it mean. When Panini uses something in a sutra, what does he want you to understand? This is a very important thing. All right? So therefore, the question about saying, Swamiji, so if the u is not there, it has no savarna. No, savarnas are always there. But if I say ku, chu, tu, tu, pu, then you should expand it to include all of them. For example, there is a sutra which says choho kuhu. That much is sutra, okay? Choho kuhu. It means whatever is chavarga letter, you replace with kavarga letter. If it is cha, you will replace it ka. If it is cha, you will replace ka. If it is ga, you will go with ja. It's all very clear. But what will Panini say? Chu with ku. Okay? Similarly, he will say if tu is there, tavarga is there in some situation, right? You replace it chavarga. Tu chu. Like that, some sutra will be there. Sto hosh chunash chu. This is the way he will say. Now, what should you know at that time? Tu hu. Oh, tu is there. Therefore, what should I do? I should make ta, tha, da, dha, na. This you should know. No doubt about it. Okay? Is this clear? So all the questions in that section which I read, the answer for all of them is this, okay? That savarna letters are purely by the definition tulya asya prayatnam savarnam. What is savarna? Samana varnam. Right? It is similar. In what? Asya and prayatna. Which prayatna? Abhyantara prayatna. Is this clear? And what when you need to expand, what would you expand? In a pratyahara, if you have to include savarna, only those which are within the an pratyahara, and for this rule alone, which an? The second na, so that you include all the vowels and semi-vowels. Ha doesn't have any consequence. So ach and yan will get extra savarna letters when needed. This is a blind rule now. Now you don't have to worry first and second and. You understand this much, right? When you are bringing in savarna letters, which ones? For ach and yan. Is that clear? If it's not clear, you can ask. Why I'm saying ach and yan is because hakara has no savarna. So it makes no difference to us. If you take second nakara, it's what? Ach. Right? Then what? Hayavarat and lan. Right? So I could say han. Ha has no savarna. So I'm saying yan. That's all I mean to say. All right? So basically, you get nasalized yavarala, and for the vowels, you will get based on nasalization, based on Vedika swara, as well as based on the matra. And most of the times, you will only deal with the matra. This is why I said, ignore nasalization and Vedika swara and mark the savarna, so that your life becomes simpler. Okay? Because we are not going to deal with Vedic grammar here. So we don't need Vedika swaras. Sometimes you're looking at Veda part, you will get the nasalization of the yavarala. Yes, Sujata or Ravindra, whoever has a question, please ask. Unmute and ask. Yeah.
Swamiji, that A, O, I, was are not having savarnas.
Correct. No savarnas.
Then why don't we say ak and yan?
No, 1 second. When I say A, I, O don't have, I mean in terms of matra, okay? In terms of if you look at in terms of the nasalization, ignore it. But in terms of matra, there are, because there are 12 forms of A.
Okay.
You take, see, A is 2 matras, I is 2 matras, but they can have 3 also. Okay? Technically, they have savarnas. But I'm saying if you ignore matras, then there are no savarnas. Okay?
So then that is okay.
Yeah.
Ach and yan.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Swamiji.
You're welcome. Any other questions here? Good. So let's go back to the questions now. Yes, Sharda.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste, ma.
So when we have the pratyahara hal,
yeah.
So then we take only one hakara because there are 2 hakaras in the hal.
Correct. 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 You take only one. Correct. Because even if you take a second time, it's the same letter.
Yeah.
So suppose I said, are you mathematics oriented?
A little bit.
Sets. Do you know sets? Intersection, union, etc. Good. So now suppose I told you there is a set which has ha and another set which has ha. Make a union. What will you get? Only one ha. Are you with me? See, when you combine 2 sets, if they're duplicates, they don't appear as 2 times. Only one will appear. That's all. Yeah.
And another question was that if you like you have the when you have a say the pratyahara now has the vowels and it has the nasals. So for the vowels we have we have a dirgha a, for e you have e and so on. But then what about the nasals? Don't we include their ka, kha, ga, ga, or So there.
No, this is what I explained, right?
So I'm unable to.
It is not in an. See. Look at this. I'll show you. Give me a second, okay? Let me get another file. Let's look at it. Look, what I said is this. Savarna should be included, I said, for an. Letters in an. What are letters in an? Where do they stop? Here.
Okay.
Okay? Now, this, when you say you look at the comes here. This is not part of an. So you do not try to bring in savarnas for these.
Okay.
You stop your savarnas at the 6th point. Here.
Okay.
Therefore, you'll bring savarnas for what? The vowels and yavarala. This is what I explained. Okay. And the only time you will bring the savarnas for the consonants is if I use the u, ku, chu, tu explicitly. Then you bring. So if I just say or if I say khai, you're not going to bring all other savarnas. No. If I say ku, not ku, then you should bring. If I say chu, you should bring. Otherwise, no. So consonant savarnas will only come if the u, nasalized u, is used as an eighth letter with the first of the class. Otherwise, you don't bring savarnas. Leave them out. Okay?
So that means even in Jash, there will be no savarnas.
No savarnas. That's what I said. The basis where it should be clear now. Right. Savarnas are for an, where the na is the second na, not the first.
Right.
In all other sutras which are really using, it is only first an. It is this much only, a, e, u. But only for knowing which savarnas to bring, we are going to expand it to here.
Okay.
Therefore, once you understand savarna, you can forget about the second an. It's only for savarna we need the second an. Is that clear?
Right. It's clear. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Swamiji, one question from the 5.3.
I will come to that. Is it related to this? I'll come back to that later.
No, it's not related.
Yeah, I'll come back to it. Let me finish with these first. Yes, Deepti.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Namaste, Swamiji. Yeah. This is regarding, you had told Udit and Udit.
Correct.
So that is Ut. So we understand it, which are the markers. No?
I will come to Udit in a bit.
And
I will come to Udit in a bit. Hold your guns, okay? I'll come there. Not yet covered. Understand, for now it is U nasalized. I have said U nasalized, okay? I will come to more details in a bit. We'll cover that. Not yet covered. Yes, Amyanshu.
This Udit are ku, chu, tu, tu, pu are Udit only.
Correct.
That's all.
Correct. No. In this context, that's all Udit we are looking at. Okay?
Okay.
Udit is not that much. There is more to it. But for now, you understand this much alone.
Okay.
For savarna, this is all that matters. Okay. All right. So where was I heading now? I forgot my bearings. Give me a second. Let me go back to questions and I'll remember probably. Okay. So hopefully all these questions still here should be clear by now. Okay. Now, question of phonetics. Now the question, I think I missed the question here. Okay. So there was a question about, ahlada. Is it pronounced ahlada or should be alhada? See, prahlada, is it prahlada or pralhada? This question comes. Some people say the other way. You understand one thing. Sanskrit is a phonetic language, okay? Exceptions are when hakara is followed by na, or ma. Okay? In these three cases, Puja Swamiji would say, you keep the hakara silent and the following consonant you emphasize. Okay? For example, Brahma. What should we do? This is our most common word, okay? Brahma. What should we do? Brahma. We say no. Say Brahma. No. Brahma. Brahma. That ma is emphasized. The ha is dropped pretty much. But some people will do what? They will say Brahma. They will reverse the two. And there are some others who insist, no, as is written, you should pronounce. It should be Brahma. I have heard all three arguments being done vehemently, okay, by people who are quite scholarly. So I don't want to, say wrong or right. But I will follow what Swamiji has said, which means I will say Brahma. I will not say Brahma. I will not say Brahma. Okay. So this is an area of some contention. Generally in South, you will find Brahma or Brahma. North, I have seen a little more of Brahma happening. I don't know if it's because of not knowing or because that's the way they're taught. Because see, what happens in Veda Parampara, what you are taught by your teacher is the rule. You don't change it for any reason. That's how Vedic chanting is. So I've heard a Ghanapati saying it should be Brahma, Shukla Yajurvedi. So don't know. But from what I know, this is what it is. Okay. Similarly, Vanni, Vakara, Hakara, Nakara. It's not Vakni. It is Vanni. Vanni. Double Nakara, as though. Or Vanni. Depends on how you look at it. Okay. Similarly, Purvanna. Purvanna. Aparanna. But Ha and Na is here. Okay. So Prahlada, etc. will be as it is written. No change. Only when Ha, Na, Ha, Ma, these three come, you have to watch. Otherwise, chant as it is. Okay. Any questions on this? No. Then, third question. In the Ashtadhyayi software, sometimes there are many dhatus for a Tinganta Padam. How to decide which dhatu to use? Example, Dhiyatam has 4 dhatus. Look, for the artificial exercise I cook up, you can give all 4. Okay? Makes no difference. But when you are looking at a real sentence to understand it, you have to go with context. There is no simple way. Context only will tell you. Sometimes poets are very smart. They will have multiple contexts will have meaning. I mean, multiple dhatus can have meaning. Then you can give many different interpretations too. It's possible. But there is no way to say which one. Now, second part, I am getting confused with the usage of Atmane Pada in Kartari Prayoga. Fair enough. In exercise 5.1, we have examples, 2 examples of Atmane Pada in Kartari and Karmani Prayoga. Meaning is the same. Why can't both be Karmani Prayoga? This meaning is the same. Meaning is the same of dhatu, not of the word with Kartari and Karmani Prayoga. Okay? Meaning is same with for the dhatu, I agree. Look at the example now. Sanjayate. I said is born. This is the solution I gave. This is Kartari Prayoga. Okay? So, the point is it can be Kartari, the usage, because the 4th Gana dhatus have got the same ya in both Kartari and Karmani, the forms will be identical. Therefore, I put a footnote on your answers. If you look at carefully. See, I try to mark these things in footnotes. So, you should look at your footnotes carefully. What did I say? These are roots in the 4th Gana, which have ya as Gana Vikarana Pratyaya. And these dhatus are also Atmanepada endings. Therefore, what? Forms will be identical in Kartari and Karmani Prayoga. Which means all these words could have extra meanings. The other possibilities have not been discussed. So if you are confused, I am not surprised. But what should you understand? In the context, you have to figure out which usage is it. So you look at the words, you look at the sentence and understand what it is. Is this clear? Or is there further questions on it? You're welcome to ask if it's not clear. Okay. So this is again contextual, but understand one thing. Karmani Prayoga, Kartari Prayoga, meaning is not identical. It cannot be. Because one is denoting the karta, one is denoting the karma. Okay? So, Jayate can mean the object being born is denoted. Right? Or it can mean what? The subject is born. So there are possibilities which happen here. So we have to be very cautious. Which prayoga we have to look at carefully. Okay. 4th question. How would I make out the particular dhatu is from a particular gana? Is there any logic or trick involved? Few of them I can tell, but mostly I don't know. As soon as I see a dhatu, I should be able to say that it is from a particular gana. Is it possible? Or will it come by practice? There's very little logic, okay? You need a lot more memory and familiarity. All right. So the fact is, see, the way it will work is this. Every dhatu belonging to a gana has certain gana vikarana pratyas. All right. So if you, for example, if you see the word janati, if you know, what's the dhatu for janati? Kya. Now, do you know which gana it belongs to? Do you know or no? You don't. Now I'll tell you what. When you see this na, janati, right? Krinati, pushnati, mushnati, then they are all ninth gana. That gana vikarana tells you it belongs to ninth gana. But how did you add that na first? By knowing it's ninth gana. Therefore, it is not that you can figure it out. By knowing the forms, you may be able to see, yes, this dhatu is also there in the ninth gana. Or if you say example, another one, sunoti, shrinoti. Shrinoti is a bad example. Anyway, sunoti. So that sunoti, O comes. You know that's probably fifth gana. Probably fifth gana. Why is it shru is bad? Because it's a first gana dhatu, which is an exception. Exceptions can be there, right? So like this, once you get familiar, you may be able to guess which gana the dhatu belongs to. But don't think that's the only one. With is in 4 or 5 ganas. So you can't guess anything. And the meanings can be same or different. So it's the more familiar you are, the more comfortable you will be. There is no magic rule. In fact, the dhatu patha is one instance of a group. And how does Panini group them? Because there is no other basis to group. You group them because they are similar in some way. So the group is formed arbitrarily. By knowing the usages, you will be able to guess which gana it belongs. For example, you see chur dhatu, chorayati, do you know? You don't have a chorati. You have chorayati only. If you know this, you know that must be 10th gana. You'll guess. If you know 10th gana usage and know a dhatu of that form, you will think it may be 10th gana. So like this, by knowing gana vikarana pratyayas, you can make a reasonable guess about the dhatu, about the possibility that a dhatu belongs to a particular gana. It's not saying it's confined to that gana. It means it also belongs to that gana. And if I want to muddy the waters a little more, in 10th gana, there is a section of 10th gana wherein it can optionally take first gana forms. And after dictionary will say it's in 2 ganas, first and 10th, which is wrong. I mean, not right exactly. So you have a lot of such wrinkles in between, okay? So more familiar you are, the more comfortable you will be. That's all I can say. Okay? Yes, Bhuma.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Swamiji, I have a doubt within the Kartari and Karmani, like for example, I take Krudhatu, then Krunoti and Kriyate, when to use it, we are clear.
Karoti and Kriyate.
Sorry, Karoti and Kriyate.
Correct.
But Krunute, which is Atmane Pada of Kartari Prayoga, like,
Which dhatu?
Kru dhatu.
Kru is not Kruno. Why you are bringing Kruno? No. Karotu.
Karotu, Swami. So if we have Kartari Latlakaraha Atmane Pada and Kartari Latlakara Parasme Pada, when do we use the Atmane Pada and any examples, Swami?
In general, the meanings are identical. You can use either in general.
Okay.
If a dhatu is ubhayapadi, both are okay in general. This is general rule, okay? Now, in certain dhatus, the rule is if the result of the action is accruing only to the actor, to the doer, then you should use Atmanepada.
Okay.
If the result is accruing to more than that one person who is doing, then you should use Parasmayapada. Atmane means for oneself, Parasmay for others. That's the meaning. Now, this is very typically said for Kru dhatu and Pach dhatu. Why? Because Kru is our Veda is immersed in Kru, Dukrang. Our life is Kru. Therefore, when you do puja at home, who are you doing it for? For yourself. So you use Atmanepada. Aham idam karishye, you will say. I am doing this. Whereas the priest does it, he will say what? Karomi. or karishyamaha. He will use parasmapada. If he doesn't, priest is saying, I'm doing it for myself, technically. Okay? But this is a very tight interpretation. And I'm saying now this vyavastha is not very strong, which means people tend to use either form atmanepada or parasmapada a little loosely. Sometimes in the Vedanta context, we will point out this parasmapada atmanepada to show that look, this is what it means. So technically it has a meaning. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Swami.
Yes. Geeta?
Namaste.
Namaste.
I want to ask, everywhere you have written this all kavarga, chavarga, everywhere halanta you have given. What is the reason of writing that way?
Because to make sure you understand, I'm only meaning the consonant, nothing else.
So we should write like that only.
Not necessarily. See, if you understand, it doesn't matter to me, okay? Because if I write cha, see, when I put alphabet, I said, even in the Maheshwara Sutras, how did we do? We did not put halanta. I wouldn't relate. No, only end. All the way.
All the way.
We didn't. So there we said what? A is for ucharanartha. We said A is for ucharanam.
Yes, yes.
Right? So in all these, you can see we said this. If you look at it, hakaradishu akaraha ucharanartha lan madhyetu itsangyakaha. So in all other sutras, beginning with ha, which is a consonant, the seventh sutra. They are all what? The after this ha is only ucharanartham. It is not it. It is not included. It is only because you cannot pronounce a consonant independently. So how you write it doesn't matter. How you understand it matters. So if you say hal or if you say hut, you should include what? Hakara, yakara, vakara, repa. You should not say ha, ya, You should not bring a. That's all. How you write doesn't matter to me. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes. Because in answer sheet, when you have given, everywhere halant.
No, I told you. It was just to make sure nobody loses the focus on that. Okay. That's all. To make sure you understand only consonants, a is not included. Because what have I said? I have said this last consonant is it. Right? So now if you say, Swamiji, in everyone a is there, therefore every pratyahara will have a. That could be a problem. Therefore, I made sure I use halanta. That's all. Okay? All right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. So let's go back now. Okay. So with this, I have finished all the questions. All right. Yes, Ravindranath or Sujata, whoever.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Yes.
In this ka, ga, gha, ma, ha is also gutturals. But ha cannot be taken as savarna.
What is the rule for what is the rule for savarna? You tell me. What should be common?
Asya
and prayatna. What is prayatna for her?
Ha.
It is vivrita. It is prishta. Yes. Or it is ishad prishta. Therefore, it's not same as a. You cannot make it savarna. Okay?
Okay.
That clear?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Okay, you can put your hand down. Otherwise, I'll be confused. Okay? All right. So far, so good? You're all clear? Good. Now, I will take you and show you a few more things. I'm thinking, what should the best thing I should do right now? Let's start with that. Do you see the screen? New screen? Yes or no?
No.
No.
Okay, sorry. Okay, fair enough. I'll fix that. Give me a second, okay? Because I normally say, if I say stop share, then it stops sharing. If I don't say stop share, it stays. So, all right. Share screen. Share sound. Okay, share. All right. Okay. So you see now, we looked really at this one sutra, Tulyasya Prayatna Savarna, to show what is savarna. Now, the very next sutra after that says, Na ach halau. Na ach halau. What it means is this. I have already told you this. This answers the last question asked also very clearly. The sandhi, if you go here and look, you will find na ach halau. Na ach halau. You see this line? I'm showing you this line. Na ach halau. And what is coming down from the previous sutra? Savarnam. From tulyasya prayatnam savarnam, it's coming down. So what becomes total line? Ach halau na savarnau. What does it mean? What is ach now? What does ach mean? All vowels. What does hal mean? All consonants. So what is it saying now? A vowel and a consonant cannot be savarna. No doubt. A vowel and consonant mutually cannot be savarnam. Drop that idea. Okay? All right. So, in this, I showed you so far. Yeah. This is the one I have talked about. Anudit savarnasya cha pratyaharas. This is what tells you what to expand. Don't worry about the sutra right now. I'm just showing it to you, okay? Now, the point is this. When you say expand, what should I do when I want to say only one particular thing, like I want only short or only long, what should I do? I have to specify it somehow. Now, if I specify a short short means hrasva akara. What all will you include in savarna? You will include 18 forms of a. And if it's only matra, you will include dirgha. Right? Now, I don't want you to include. When I say I mean only not dirgha, not pluta. How to prevent it? You need a mechanism. We need what? A mechanism. Therefore, right after saying what an will do to expand, an has to be expanded for savarna, the next sutra says taparas tatkalasya. Taparaha tatkalasya. I will explain this to you. Okay? See, the word taparaha means what? There are two things here. Ta and para. Para means what? After. Ta is what? The letter ta. The a is for ucharana. Don't think ta and a. Okay? Anytime I have a consonant, I have to add a vowel. I can't pronounce it. There are two ways to deal with it. One, you add a pratyakara. You say takara, kakara, hakara, lakara. You can add it to anything. In fact, sometimes we even add it to words. We'll say itikara, evakara. This kara is a standard suffix we add to identify what we want to talk about. When you say lakara, what does it mean? The consonant la. When you say ikara, what does it mean? The vowel e. If I say makara, what does it mean? Consonant ma. Right? But we don't say kara every time. So here the word ta means what? Just the consonant ta. All right. Ta paraha. Now, when you have a compound, we have two important types of compound we have to consider here. Okay. What's a compound in Sanskrit? It's called a samasa. Okay. A samasa is where start with two. More can be there, but we'll start with two. Two nouns come together in a meaning which is different from both the nouns. There is a new meaning. Okay. Now, what that meaning is has to be figured out, because the compound is a different meaning. So, if there are two terms, we say, which one? So, take the example now. Tat purusha. Tat purusha. What are the two words there? Tat. When I say two words, take pratipadika, okay? Tat and purusha. What does tat purusha mean? You have to now, you don't know. I will tell you. It means tasya purushaha. Tasya purushaha tat purushaha. Rajyaha putraha rajaputraha. What does it mean now? a prince I want to talk about. Who is a prince? The son of a king. Okay? I don't want to use a unique word prince. I want to say son of a king. How will I say it? Two words, Raja and Putra. What's their connection? Son of a king. So what is the sentence? Rajyaha Putraha. Are you with me? Rajyaha Putraha means you have to know Rajyaha is 6th case singular of Rajan Shabda. Otherwise you will be in trouble. Okay? Rajyaha Putra means what? Son of the king. Now suppose I say, bring the son of the king. Whom will you bring? King or son? Whom will you bring? Anyone answer? Son.
Son you will bring.
You will bring the son. We will bring the son. Now the point is, in the two words, Raja and Putra, Putra is the second word in the compound. Okay? When the second word in the compound is what will be acted upon by a verb, that kind of a compound will be called a Tatpurusha compound. It is called Uttarapada Pradhana. First letter is called Purvapada. First word is called Purvapada. Second word is called Uttarapada. See, I am not teaching samasas right now. This is how it will go. Okay, small introductions will come now and then till we get there. Uttarapada, Purvapada. Now, when you have these two padas, and when you use this compound, which is a combination of these two in a sentence means assume there is a thing, a verb. Which word will be denoted by the verb? So if I say Rama gacchati, what does it mean? Rama is denoted by gacchati. Correct? Gacchati denotes the karta, who is Rama. Rama khelati. Rama is denoted by khel dhatu. Similarly, in a compound if I say Rajaputraha gacchati, who is it denoting? Putra, not Raja. That time of a compound is called Uttarapada Pradhana. Pradhana means, see, dominant. Dominant means what? Pradhana means what? Understand. That which will be denoted by a Kartari Prayoga word. Dhatu. A verb. A thing. Then you will be clear. So I will always say Anaya. Rajaputra Manaya. Who will you bring? Raja or Putra? Putra. Therefore, it has to be Tatpurusha. Okay? Now, I said Rajya Putra, 6th case. Relation need not be always 6th case. It can be any case. Okay? Now, another type of compound is called Bahuvrihi. Before we get there, so Rajaputra is what? Uttarapada Pradhana. Uttarapada Pradhana. If both padas are Pradhana, Ubhaya Pada Pradhanam, that will be called Dvandva Samasa. It's called Dvandva Samasa. What is an example? Rama and Lakshmana. Rama Lakshmanau. Now, if I say Rama Lakshmanau Anaya, who will you bring? Both, not one. If I say Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugnam Anaya, Shatrugnan Anaya, then you have to bring all four. Swamiji, what is different? It looks like you're using 4 words. No. If I have to use 4 words, what? I should say Ramascha, Ramamcha, Ramamcha, Bharatancha, Lakshmanancha, Shatrugnancha, Anaya. I have to use cha. At least one cha. Ramam, Lakshmanam, Bharatam, Shatrugnancha, Anaya. I can say that. Simpler way is what in Sanskrit? Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, Shatrugnam, Anaya. How many case endings? Only one. Second case applied to the whole compound, not to Rama, Lakshmana separately. Are you with me? This is how compounds work. In a compound, every compound has to be used as a padam finally. What is the padam? That which has sup pratyaya in the end. One of the cases. All right. So now, in this, what is pradhana? It is all padas are pradhana. In dvandva, you can have 2 or as many as you want. Not restricted to 2. Tatpurusha only 2. Dvandva can have any number. Because you just string them together. Okay. So what is it called now? It is called, either we can call it Ubhaya Pada Pradhanam, Dvandva Samasa, or I can say it is Sarva Pada Pradhanam. Ubhaya means both. Sarva means all. Ubhaya Pada Pradhanam or Sarva Pada Pradhanam. And what does Pradhanam means? It is what will be denoted by the verb. That's why you understand it. It will help you. Okay? Is this clear? So Tatpurusha is Uttara Pada Pradhana. Second word is what is denoted by the verb. But the Dvandva is Ubhaya or Sarva Pada Pradhanam. Sarva because you have to count more than two also sometimes. All right. Now we go to the third fellow, Bahuvrihi. What is Bahuvrihi? It is going to denote neither the Purvapada nor the Uttarapada. It will denote what? Anyapada, something outside of the two. What's an example? Our friend Ravana. Dashakantha. 10 necks, you know. Dashakantha. Dashakantha manaya. Anaya means please bring, okay? I'm using it as an example for a verb. Whom will you bring? What are the two words? 10. Dasha. Kantha is neck. Will you bring 10 or will you bring neck? What will you bring? You can neither bring 10 nor can you bring neck. What will you bring? You will bring a fellow who has got 10 necks. Understood? So Puja Swamiji would say, somebody called, one guru called one Shishya and said, Lamba Karna Manaya. Lamba Karnam means what now? Lamba means long. Karna means ear. What is Lamba Karnam now? If you take it as a Tatpurusha with first case, you will get what? Long ear will be Lamba Karna. So what did Shishya do? He was very brilliant. He walked around, found one brahmachari with long ear, cut his ear and brought it to the guru. This is not what I told you. What did I mean? The fellow who has a long ear you bring, not the long ear. You understand the difference? Don't bring the long ear. Bring a person who has a long ear. Vakratunda is example. You see that? What is Vakratunda? One whose mouth is crooked. Ganesha is called Vakratunda. Right? Lot of our words are like this. Bahuvrihi. What does Bahuvrihi mean? Bahu means much. Vrihi means paddy. So if I say Bahuvrihi Manaya, who will you bring? Much or paddy? Neither. You will bring a person who has a lot of paddy, which means a wealthy man. Paddy goes away. Bahu goes away. What meaning is a wealthy person? One who has a lot of paddy means a lot of wealth. Paddy becomes Upalakshana. Kakebhyo dadirakshatam. Okay? Like that. So, what is Bahuvrihi now? Anyapada Pradhanam. Is this clear? Anyapada means what? Not a word which is the two words making the compound. All right? Now, let's come back to our example now. We want to look at a word, tapara. What is the word? Tapara. What are the two words there? Ta and para. Ta and para. Now, one way of saying it is tat paraha. Fifth case. Tat, like Ramat. Tat. Tat paraha. What does it mean? That which comes after a ta. That which comes after a ta. Because tat, fifth case, it stands for reference point. You remember fifth case, reference point for moment. Tat paraha, which is after a ta. Or if you take Bahuvrihi, what it mean? Ta is after which. Ta is after which will be what? Tapara. Ta paraha yasmat. Saha. Taparaha. Tatparaha or ta paraha yasmat saha. So one is Bahuvrihi, one is Tatpurusha. But both are valid. Both are valid. Now, what are we saying now? We want to say if you want to restrict a vowel to any one matra, what are matras? One matra, hrasva. Two matras, dirgha. Three matras, pluta. If you want to restrict a letter to any one matra only, don't bring all savarnas. I want to restrict to one matra. Then what should you do? You have to make it tapara. You have to make it what? Tapara. What does it mean? Suppose you take the vowel a. You either should say at. Okay? Or you should have ta followed by a. Ta. Both of them in a pratyahara sense will mean what? Only a. Either ta should precede the vowel that you want to restrict, or it should follow the vowel you want to restrict. This is called taparakaranam. What is it called? Taparakaranam. Predominantly, you will find ta follows, okay? Predominantly. Like you'll have words like at, it, ut, etc. Now, sometimes it can mean, especially when I say it has a meaning. What is it? It is it letter. Now it's not tapar. It can be taparakaranam. It can mean the word it. We have to be cautious. But at, you can be sure it is taparakaranam. Okay? At. So, suppose I want to say short only. What should I do? I should say at. If I want only short u, what should I say? Ut. Okay? Now, what does ut stand for? Stands only for short u. Short u will include what? If you go nasalized, non-nasalized, and 3 Vedic swaras. So it will become 6. But length is only 1. U, ut. Are you with me? Now, what does it mean? Only short e. What does at mean? Short a. Hrasva a. Rit. R short. Do you need eighth? Short? No. But A is how many matras? 2. If you say eighth, means only 2 matra A. Don't bring the 3. Understand? It is restricted to that length, whichever you precede it with. Is this clear? You add a tha, it restricted that length. Now you come back to udit. Now you come back to udit. No, not yet. Not a good idea. See, udit, what happened, I'll tell you. I'll explain udit anyway, since I started with that. Udit has got 2 parts now. Ut and it. There are 2 words. And again, it's a compound. What kind of a compound? A bahuvrihi compound. It's a bahuvrihi compound. What does ut mean? Short hrasva u only. Okay? What does it mean? It letter, which is a marker. It letter means a marker. What is bahuvrihi compound going to be? Ut, it, yasmin, saha. Or yasya, saha. Ut is an it letter for which is udit. Ut is an it letter for which is udit. Am I making sense? Anyone doesn't understand, please ask, okay? Right? Because there are people who are understanding and they will shake their head. And people who don't understand, if you just keep quiet, I will also move forward. If you don't understand, ask.
I didn't understand, sir.
Okay. Yes, Harsha, you didn't understand, or is there a particular question?
Oh yeah, I had a question. I can.
Yeah. I'll first explain udit again, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Look. First, do you understand, Ritesh, what is ut?
Yes.
What is it?
It specifies only hrasva u.
Oh, hrasva u. Now that's one padam for the compound now, okay? Udit is a compound. It is the second part of the compound, second word. What does it mean? A marker. It just means a marker, like we have used for all the pratyaharas. Okay? Now, I'm saying it's a bahuvrihi compound. And what's the relationship? That which has ut as it. That which has ut as it.
Got it. Okay.
That is called udit now. How will I say in Sanskrit? Ut, it, yasya, saha. You have to get used to these now. Ut, it, yasya, saha. That's why I gave long time to say memorize your pronouns well. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Ut, it, yasya, saha is what? Udit. Why did it become udit? Why not utit? Sandhi takes place. Sandhi takes place.
So
Now
does that mean I can use ut also as a marker at some place?
Takara, no, ut is not a marker now. You see, the short u is a marker. Ut is not a marker. Short u, nasalized is a marker. Nasalized short u is a marker. That is said by ut.
Okay.
Ut is only saying short, nasalizing extra. Okay? But understand what we're trying to say.
Okay.
All right? So now, ut ityasya. And therefore, what do you get now? You get the situation where udit means that which has u as a marker, which is this ku, chu, pu, tu. Because this, you can add this udit. Panini doesn't give you freedom to add it wherever. You should add it to the first letter of the class. Then only we can do what we are doing here, expanding it. Okay? You can make udit with anything, but in our context, I'm saying it only applies to the first letter of a class. Ka, cha, ta, ta, pa. So ku means what now? Ku is what? It is udit. Chu is what? Udit. Tu is what? Udit. Pu is what? Udit. And what does it mean? Bring in all its savarnas. Akuha visarjaniyaha kanthaha. Ku is what? Ka, kha, ga, gha, nga. Ha. They're all what? They come from kantha. E, chu, ya, sha, nam, talu. E. Chu is what? Cha, cha, ja, ja, nya. How do you know cha, cha, ja? This chu is udit. Therefore, an udit savarnasya grahakaha bhavati. When you have either an an letter or an udit of this kind, you have to bring in its savarna. This is called grahaka sutra. Okay. Now, whoever has questions still, raise your question. Raise your hands now. Yes, Harsha.
Swamiji, you had mentioned the sutra definition as being sarvato mukha. If there are multiple interpretations of samasa.
Now, fair enough. I understand what you're saying. I'll answer it before you finish, okay? Because, look, see, we say that, but still, every time it may not hold like that entirely. Because otherwise, then for each one, if it was hold all compound, we'll be in trouble, okay? All right. So here you have to take bahuvrihi. That's how it is intended. Okay. In Vedanta, it's applied more strictly than in Panini grammar in this context. The sarvatomukhatva. Yes, Deepti.
So when this is related to ut only, so ut, when we say it's restricted to hrasva u only, then how we are taking the nasalized one in the sutra?
Look, hrasva u did not remove the nasalization or the Vedic swaras. There are 6 us.
So the restriction is in terms of matra only?
Only kala. Only kala. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Now, with this much background, if we go back to the sutra. Yes, Priyanka.
So how will we know that we have to use the nasalized one here?
You will see it in the context. We have, as I said, this way the sutras will go is till you see sutras, it won't be clear to you. What I'm telling you is when you see ku, chu, to only for first letter, you will know.
And in the sutra, akuha visarjaniyanam, it doesn't use the nasalization there.
That's why I told you that this nasalization habit has gone long ago. So it is pratigya of the parampara. It stands for nasalized. Okay. You have to take it like that. Even I don't say. But if you go strictly, you should say what? You should say. You should not say ku. You should say ku.
So ku doesn't exist actually. It's always
Ku. It is always nasalized in this context. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go back now to look at that sutra. You see it? Yes?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, good. Now you see. I said taparaha. See, there is sandhi here, okay? Look at padacheda, means how the words are broken. Taparaha tatkalasya. Taparaha tatkalasya. By itself doesn't make sense. I have to bring in a few words from previous sutras. And it will become what? Taparaha. See? Takarat parahavarnaha tathacha takaraha yasmat paraha. These are two interpretations I gave you. One bahuvrihi, one tatpurusha. Ubhavapi स्वकालवाचकानां savarnanam eva nirdesham kurutah. Both of them, ubhavapi, both of them, swakalavachakaanam savarnanam nirdesham kurutah. Nirdesham kurutah means they are denoting, they are bringing in what? Savarnas of the same length. Swakala, one matra, two matra, or three matras. Swakala vachakanam savarnanam. So E cannot bring in U. E can only bring savarna E. Cannot bring in U and R and all that. Eva nirdesham kurutah. Net, what do we have to understand here? If I want to say only short A, I should say what? I should not use A. I should use at. If I want to say long A, what should I do? What should I do? Anyone? Answer loudly.
At.
Okay. Now, look. If I say ah, what will you, what? By the rule that anudit savarnasya, when can you expand a thing to include savarnas? Only which are in an. Are you with me? In an is a there? In an is a there? A, I, U, R, L. You don't find a in an. Okay? There is no dirgha vowels in an directly. Therefore, if I say a, you should not bring savarna. Watch out. If I say a, you should bring savarna. Are you with me? Only what is in an, not otherwise. An is what? A, I, U. A, I, U. It does not have a. So if I say a, what does it mean? It just means a. It doesn't mean anything else. But if you say a, you have a problem. It can bring a and a. It can do all this. Therefore, what should I do? I should restrict it to at. Okay? Suppose you say at. Is it wrong? Next question. Suppose you say at. Is it wrong? It is not wrong, but there we will say takara is only for ucharana. It is not for restricting the length, because length is restricted without adding ta. But when you see at in the mind, like you thought, intuitively you think of only long a. You don't think anything else. It's nice. So Panini allows that, uses it also. But is it required? No. Then why is ta there? It is mukha sukhartham, for the pleasure of your mouth. That's all. It does not restrict the length, because restricted enough length is not needed for a, e, r, not needed. But a, it's needed. E, it is needed. Whatever is in that, in the Maheshwara Sutras, for those letters, if you want to restrict one matra, you have to add. So what you will get? At, it, ut, right? You can have all these. Eighth also you can have, but restricting 2 matras, not 3. Okay? Is this somewhat clear? So what have we done now? First we said basic Maheshwara Sutras will not give you a lot of these long vowels. How is it included? By bringing savarna, it can be included. right? But if you want to restrict to only one length, what should you do? Taparkरणम. Okay? Now, having done this much only, I can teach you the first sutra of Panini. What is the first sutra? And second sutra? Let us look at it briefly, okay? So if you go, first sutra is Vriddhiradaich. Second sutra is what? Adeng Gunaha. Now, let's start with second sutra, okay? Look at, first we have to learn what? How to break it. And fortunately, we have Ashtadhyay, so it shows everything. At Eng Gunaha. Okay? At Eng Gunaha. What At Eng now? It is At and Eng. Okay? At Eng Gunaha. Now, you see what do you understand by At now? What do you understand by At? Hrasva Akara. All right? Why? Ta is sitting here. What do you understand by Eng? A-O. How many lengths? A is 2, can have 3. Can have 3. O is 2, right? A-ong. A-O. O can also have 3. Now, I don't want long. I only want 2 matras of A and 2 matras of O. How do I restrict it? This ta is sitting in between, okay? You can read this as at, and second is what? Teng. Are you with me? This ta is sitting like a lamp in the middle. All right? So it can stand for at, and it can also stand for te. So you didn't write two times, not needed. It's an oral tradition. Ta is sitting on both sides now. For one, it is after. For one, it is before. Both are what? Tapara. If you look at a, it is ta is after. Bahuri samasa. If you look at a, it is tatparaha. But both are what? Taparaha. Therefore, what does it mean now? Both, it is short, hrasva akara, and dirgha A and dirgha O. That's all will come. Because taparana is happening. Okay? Don't have to worry too much about this. This ta preceding is hardly there, okay? Just for technicality, I'm showing it to you right now. We don't need it. You normally keep this in view, at. Okay? Now, what are we saying? At eng gunaha. What is the case of at eng? 1, 1. What is the case of gunaha? 1, 1. See, prathama ekavachanam and prathama ekavachanam. Correct? So what kind of sutra will this be now? Both words prathama. Sanya sutra. So what is it telling you? It is defining the word guna. What is the word guna? The word guna stands for at eng. What does it mean? See, you see? Sanya sutram, guna sanya. What does it mean? A, O, etesham trayanam, gunaha iti sanya bhavati. This much Sanskrit you will to understand now. What is it saying? A, O, etesham, of these 3, trayanam, of these 3. Gunaha. The word guna, iti, quoting it. Sanya bhavati. They get the name guna. So what is guna now? Don't say guna means quality now. In Panini's word, what does guna mean now? A, O. Okay. So what is guna sandhi? Some of you have studied some Sanskritam. What is guna sandhi? Where you will find some letter will be replaced by a, or O. That's all. That is guna sandhi. A sandhi where something gets replaced by a, or O. Now, Swamiji, why so much trouble? First you define taparakarnam, at. Then you come to adeng gunaha. Now I will tell you later. Ad gunaha. One sutra. It's telling you guna sandhi rule. How to do it. All that will be included there. Whatever you need will be included. But what should you know? First, you should know what is gunaha. What is gunaha? Adeng gunaha. What is adeng? At and eng. What is eng? You go to Maheshwara Sutra. Find out. What is at? You start with Maheshwara, but you can't bring all savarna. What should you do? Do taparakarana. What will you get? Only short a. What is short a? Short a, nasalized, non-nasalized, plus 3 Vedic swaras, totally 6. But for our purposes, we'll count it as just short a. We don't worry about the others. Is it making sense? Some sense? Okay. Now, look at the second sutra for a minute. Yes, Ritesh.
In at and in, how do we know the second one is pratyahara and the first one is taparakarna? Like I can make out.
Second, eng is a pratyahara. No problem with that. Eng is a pratyahara. A and O have to come in. It is a pratyahara. But what is happening? It is taparakarna. Ta is sitting before. That's all. Okay. Don't worry about this ta being before, as I said. It's just for technically, I'm showing you what it comes as meaning. Okay. But you understand, short hrasvakara, A and O are what? Guna. Okay. And this first sutra, I didn't do it first for a reason. Okay. Now, here, what do you find? The named comes first and then comes the name. It's like I say, this is a toy. This is a toy. Toy, name. This comes first. Similarly, a and eng is guna. What comes first? What is going to be named comes first. This boy's name is Rama. This girl's name is Sita. What comes first? What is named comes first. Name comes later. But this rule is broken in the first sutra. What is it saying? Vriddhiradaich. What is the sandhi breaking? Vriddhihi at aich. You have seen adeng. Now its brother is here. At aich. What does at aich mean now? At aich. A is what? At is what? Yes, Priyanka. Go ahead.
A would be only A.
Correct. And taich.
A and O. I and O.
I and O. Correct. And only 2 matras each. No other matras. Because ta is sitting there. A, taich. So now what is vriddhi? A, I, and O. Why did he reverse it? Because he wants to use the word vriddhi as the first letter, first word in the sutra. Why vriddhi? Because Brahman is vriddhi. It's limitless, infinite. Therefore, he does not want to say ataich vriddhi. There is no mangalam. In a sutra, you don't add one whole mangalacharana shloka. But you want to bring Ishvara's name. How do you do it? You say vriddhiradaich. So vriddhi stands for the limitless. But grammatically, how should you look? Adaich vriddhihi. Otherwise, you'll be confused. Therefore, I did second sutra first. So you know that's a standard. Adeng gunaha vriddhiradaich. Make some sense? See, these are basics, okay? We need to understand them well. So that when we move forward, these are all taken for granted. This is the baby steps. But they should be very firm. No shaking. Once you know this much, you know what I will tell you next? I will say to you, you know all your first gana dhatus? Bhu and all these dhatus? You know what you do? You add one pratyaya. I told you add a shap pratyaya. Do you remember? One which is called shap. Do you remember something? I always said shap. I never said And I said later you'll understand why I'm calling it shap. Content is I used to say. Right? What will I tell you now? I'll tell you, you know what? When this pratyaya follows, let the last letter of dhatu take guna. Let the last letter of the dhatu take guna. But which letter? Ik letter. If there's a ik at the end of a dhatu, let it take guna in first gana. What will you do now? Bhu. Ooh. Bhu, right? Bhu. What is it ending in? Ooh. Is it ik or not? You have to know now. What is ik? I, ur, lik. You should remember this. I, ur, ur. So is it ik or not? It is ik. Now, u is ik. What are the guna letters? Adeng gunaha. A, A, O. Now, which one of the three should come in the place of u? U should become guna. Which one should come? Should A come? Should A come? Or should O come? You have to find out. O will come. Why? Why? Because it is closer to U than A or A. How is it closer? U is also coming from the lips. O is also coming from the lips. That's why the place becomes so important. So now what do you get? Bho will become bho. One big step is done. Bho plus the. Some other rule will come. I'll say make it bhavati. Many rules will come, but for now you understand. So now I can tell you, you know what? First gana, wherever ik is ending, you have to take guna. Then sandhi will happen. Like this we build up. Not only for first gana dhatu. Suppose you want to add tuman pratyaya, same thing will happen. You want to add lyap? No, won't happen. Ktwa won't happen. Some other reason will be there. Why it won't happen? Like this we have to build up. So these are building blocks. First building block is right now what? How to understand a pratyahara, which is what our homework is. Right? What is savarna? Next step, what we have to do, we have to understand how A and O, U and O are close to each other. We have to understand. What is closeness? We have seen so far what? Abhyantara prayatna. I will introduce one more prayatna called bahya prayatna. Another basis to compare. Not for savarna. Savarna job is done now. But for comparing two letters, we need, like say, if you have to replace, kha, the letter kha, ka, kha, with some letter from chavarga, which will you replace? Cha, cha. Why? You see it's 5 and 5, but you can see both are mahaprana. More air is going out. That's a prayatna. Okay, bahya prayatna. So we understand what is bahya prayatna, what is antar prayatna. Then we know what is close to each other. Very important grammar. Which is close to which? So that we can make rules, and Panini will give you one set to be replaced by another set. Which element of this set will be replaced by which element of the resulting set is to be figured out by their closeness. So you have to know each letter's space, and then you can play with it. Am I making some sense? Or is it overwhelming? I hope it's not overwhelming. I'm going at a pace which I'm allowing each one of you to ask a question, okay? So that you don't feel overwhelmed. All right? So I will not give you any homework this week. Okay? Because we have not covered much ground. Or the homework will be very simple. I will ask you taparakarana and vriddhi, etc. What is guna? What is vriddhi? What is taparakarana? You should know that much. That is what you should know at the end of this class today. Extra. And when will savarna happen? Only for those which are in pratyahara. Coming with second nakara. And when it comes to consonants, only if it is got ut as it. Now I can say ut as it, nasalized. Then it will be expanded to, it can be expanded to its savarna. And further, what do you see? Ach and hal cannot be savarna. Now, see, I can only talk to you in this language. Ach and hal cannot be savarna. Nobody else will understand. What is ach, what is hal, we don't know. What is savarna, we don't know. But you and I can now talk. Ach and hal cannot be savarna. How do you know? Nach halau on sutra. Okay? So, don't let anything disturb or bother you. If something is not clear, sleep over it, come back next time, ask. All right? We'll look into it. But the basics we'll try to make as clear as we can. All right? Any questions? Good. So I will let you know. See, now I think I mentioned to you last time, I will have to be, I expect to travel end of August, towards end of August. So next Saturday, most likely I will do the class, but there are some personal circumstances due to which I may or may not be able to do the class. Okay. So please watch your mail. And when I go to Nagpur, then depending on how things pan out with the bandwidth, etc., I will tell you. But I am intending to continue these classes so that we will go very slowly, but we will build up on our base. Okay. So until you have another homework, you can work on 5-3 slowly. All right. So you have time to play with those. And those who have not had time to catch up on previous ones, spend time. Spend please. So that's what you need to do. Build up your Tinganta a little. Build up your Subanta, especially Halanta Subanta, Marut Shabda, you learn very well. Because Pani Sutras will require it all over. Once we know the basic Vriddhi, Guna, etc., then I will help you to understand some sandhis, vowel sandhis. And we will apply it to form our word bhavati, etc., where needed. So you know how it works. Okay. So we will try to build our base, and that base can be used more extensively as we go. Okay. So yes, Priyanka.
I wanted to ask if Visarga is followed by Ksha.
Then?
Is it a Jiva Mulya or is it Visarga?
No, it's a full Visarga.
Okay.
It's a full Visarga. It's not only Ksha, but generally the only example you find is Ksha. Like Kausham Bahaksharike Devi. You will find in Devi Suktam or something. Narayani Namostute. So that is correct. Gita, you look, you'll find 1 or 2 examples of the kind you're mentioning. Ksha. So when Ksha comes, in fact, you will find Visarga is a very funny fellow. It will vanish or change most of the time, or it's optional in some cases. The time when you hear full Visarga, the kind you're mentioning is this. You know, a Visarga which is preceded by a conjunct consonant, you know, which has some specification. Sharpare. So you should know what is shar, etc. You will get the exact word then, exact rule. Then only you will get this full Visarga. That's one sutra. Your question is one sutra answer, okay? That's how it will be. But it is full Visarga.
So even in Shra, it would be Visarga full.
No, I don't think so.
There would be Sha.
See, huh?
Then it would be half Sha.
We have to look. As I said, unless I see the whole context, I won't say anything to you. Because Visarga is a little complicated. Visarga Sandhi is one of the, you know, in when they teach Laghu Siddhanta Kaumudi, they will say, Visarga Sandhi is one point where several people will drop out because they can't continue further. So it's a little harder. Because Visarga itself is non-entity. Visarga is born. There is no Visarga really. Visarga is Sakara, which becomes Ra. And Ra becomes a Visarga somehow. So it's all some way Panini has structured all this for us to understand. We will look at them when and as we move there. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Ravi Shankar.
Swamiji, so the school grammar that we learned, the Sandhi rules, they're all coming from these sutras. Am I right?
See, the way it works is this. The language is already given. The language is given to us. This is not invented by Panini. Right? This is how the language is. Panini is reverse engineering, giving you rules. Rules can be reverse engineered in 10 ways, not one. But predominantly what grammar we have today in our schools is based on Panini grammars. If you studied Guna Sandhi, Yana Sandhi, Dirgha Sandhi, all these are Paninian words. Hal Sandhi, Visarga Sandhi, they are all Paninian. Words are all Paninian. But they don't know or they won't teach sutras in school, because for school children, you don't go with this normally. You make them memorize something. Pattern matching you do. But the basis is this. So Yan Sandhi means Yan replaces something. What is Yan? Yavarala. So That's the basis.
Yeah, because largely it was only a memorization that happened.
Correct.
I never knew till date that this is coming from the sutras. It's taken 56 years.
No, all I'm saying is don't think it is coming from sutras, but understand the sutras explain it very well.
Okay.
The whole grammar is explained by the sutras. It's not coming from because suppose Panini grammar didn't exist, language would continue. So I cannot say it comes from the sutra. The sutras explain the grammar, and I'm saying the modern day grammar is predominantly drawn from Panini sutras.
Sure.
Am I making sense? So I don't want to say sutras are the cause for sandhi. No, sandhi already exists. Sutras are only explaining in a brief way how these sandhis happen.
Okay.
All right. Anything else? Yes, Sharda.
Swamiji had some questions regarding 5.3.
Yeah.
So do we have time?
You can ask. Let me see what the question is, and I will decide.
So this number 12, and Swamiji, I had one request. The print is not very, there's sometimes it's a bit, it's not so spashed. I felt it could be little
Which
more.
print?
The tigantas which you have given, sometimes it's a bit, if there is a...
That depends probably on where you're viewing it. I don't know because, see, I'm using fonts on the computer, not handwriting, so it cannot be as spashta, when it's coming out. But the point is, I don't know what fonts you're using. Make sure you're using some Unicode fonts you're comfortable with. That's why I share Word documents so you are able to edit it. I'm not giving you PDFs. So people are free to edit and use their own fonts internally. Use some Unicode font. I typically use font from a software called Baraha. Baraha has got a number of fonts. I typically use BRH Dev 02 because I find it's clear. See, if what I'm displaying on the screen is clear, then same thing comes in homeworks.
And I had a question.
Yeah.
The number 12, is it Bhavet or is it Bhevet?
It should be Bhavet. There's no word Bhevet.
Yeah, so that was one print which was there. It says
sometimes I have a typo too. I'm quite good at making some mistakes now and then. Yeah. But if someone points out, I correct it and send it all to you or tell you it's a correction.
Okay. And then there is one 48. Is it Yanti or is it Yanti?
Yanti would be right.
Right. And then 49 was Abhimanyanti. So I'm unable to find a Parasmay Pada. Both the...
Sometimes, see, I'm giving examples from the Upanishad or Gita. Sometimes in Shastras, they will use a different pada. You don't worry about it. You say, I found this, and you say this is what it is. It looks like an exception. You mark it looks like an exception. Okay. And as I said earlier, if something is not within your ken, don't spend enormous time. Spend the time meaningfully so that you'll get the answer. You'll see what it was about. But don't do it like at the drop of a hat. Okay, I will get the answer later anyway. That's not right. Spend enough effort, but don't kill yourself doing it so that you have sanity retained in your head.
Right. And like even the word Janitha.
Yeah. I sent a correction to that if you saw. Did you see your mail?
Yes.
Saying make it either Jani, make it, Janatha is removed, make it Janitha or Janitha. Right. Correct.
But when we type it on the Ashtadhyaya thing, I was unable to search for the answer as the dhatu.
Give me 1 second. You're seeing Ashtadhyaya now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go and find. No, not that. Sorry. I have to find from where. Okay, this fellow is hiding it. Wait up. Okay, so we look for Dhatu Patha. And then we'll search for Ja, Ni, Tha. Why you can't find it? I can. So you can see right away, right? And if I put that, it tells you Kartri, Lat, Lakara, Madhya Purusha, Bahuvachanam. And if I make it Janita, you will find it is Kartari, Lot, Lakara, Madhya Purusha, Bahuvachanam. No problem with it. So there must be something. Either you're trying to probably type in Roman, I don't know, or you're typing with some non-Unicode fonts, you could have trouble. If you're using Unicode fonts, you should be fine.
Because I'm trying to type in with the Roman, I don't know this.
So if you want to try Roman, let me try, but you have to know what to do. See, N-I-I-T, Janita. See, I found it still.
Right.
Or you replace double A with a capital A. And replace double I with a capital I. And you should still find it. But see, now I obviously have done something more interesting now. That's why it's showing more. So it's giving you some more forms. I have to look what it's showing me, okay? But all I'm saying is Roman gets a little tricky at times because not every character is available.
Right.
You have to know which characters to type for what.
Okay.
All right. So if you shift to a Unicode font, you will find it a lot more easier.
Okay.
Type in Hindi, in Sanskrit directly, you'll find it easier.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Yes, Ritesh.
Swamiji, I wanted to know, using Windows or Mac, I installed this keyboard, but it's not intuitive. Like if I press A, then it is not giving me A. In Mac, it used to give me, but in Windows, it is not.
Windows, I told you, I use Baraha, which I'm very comfortable with.
Baraha is a
software you can download, and you go look on our initial links I had sent, you know, what all typing software. The people have used different typing software. There are some which will do it on the web for you. So I use Baraha. And there is something called, Omkarananda Ashram or something has this, what's it called? iTrans. Something called iTrans 2003. Not a very nice thing, but you can play with it and see how you like it. There you can type and then cut paste to other windows. That'll be a pain. I like to type directly where I am.
Yeah, I'm using a web one, but it is complicated of,
No, sir.
I can try it.
You see, Baraha up to version 8 or so is free. You can download if they're still available. Beyond that, you'll have to pay some 15 or 2,000 rupees something like that for one license, lifetime. It's a pretty decent software in my mind. There could be others, and others in the class can help you what they use.
Yeah, we all use Pramukh, Swamiji. I use Pramukh.
So
is it on Windows?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I can send you the link.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm saying I'm sure there are other people using other software too. Software is quite wide. So a lot of different options available nowadays. And if you basically Google itself gives you some options. If you're using a mobile, it'll give you some options. But on Windows, I think you have a lot of software nowadays. I just don't know enough. Word itself allows you, if you know, Mangal is installed in Word now, part of Word. So you just have to add that extended keyboard or something. You can type in Sanskrit directly in Word, which is what I use. But I use Word with Baraha. I don't use the Word keypad directly. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. We'll stop now.